This is a paid advertisement on behalf of Myriad Uranium. What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital, and you're here with Thomas Lamb, CEO of Myriad Uranium. Pleasure to have you back on, Thomas. How are you?
Yeah, fine. It's good to see you.
Yes, so let's get to it. Let's start with a quick introduction to Myriad Uranium. So, for those unfamiliar, we've covered Myriad for quite a while now, but can you give us a high-level overview of the company, your core mission, and the unique position Myriad holds within the uranium sector?
Absolutely. So Myriad is a public company. We are a uranium explorer and developer. We're very fortunate to have two projects, one in Wyoming. I think it's the world's top uranium jurisdiction. The second project is in New Mexico. The first project, called Copper Mountain, is a very large-scale project that was going to be a large-scale conventional uranium mine. It was going to start operations in 1983. That got cut off by the 3 Mile Island accident or incident in 1979. I'll tell you more about that. The Red Basin project has got high grades near surface. It's in roll-front sandstone, and it's an exciting project in its own right in New Mexico. So we are going to advance these projects. They're in the right places. They're large scale, and the future is very bright for our company.
Exciting. We know how important jurisdictions really are, so
Yep.
you're in some great ones. You've recently announced that you have extensive disequilibrium at Copper Mountain. Could you explain what you mean and how that's beneficial?
I'm so glad you asked. Okay, this is very interesting. It's going to get a little bit technical. Copper Mountain is in the center of Wyoming. It's a bit to the west of, but not far from all the major companies. Wyoming is the epicenter of uranium in the world right now, I would say. It's the center of America's uranium sector, and it's the focus of investment. I just want to get that out of the way. So Copper Mountain has 7 identified deposits. Those were identified by Union Pacific Railway in the 1970s. 6 of those deposits were going to form part of the initial 15 to 30 million pound large scale mine that Union and Southern California Edison had planned late 1970s, early 80s. They drilled 2,000 boreholes. They probed those holes with something called a DFN probe, which measures neutron emission. And they counted uranium and they planned a mine. Then in the periphery around those central deposits, they identified 15 prospects. And those prospects were each drilled, most of them had between 5 and 20 boreholes, which were also probed with this DFN probe, or it's called a delayed fission neutron probe, like a Geiger counter. So they thought they understood the project. 2,000 boreholes. They spent 90 million US in today's dollars drilling 2,000 boreholes,
Hmm.
and they designed a mine. However, and this is where it gets interesting, at the time, they weren't exactly sure about the grades that they were getting, the grade readings, the percentage of uranium readings they were getting from this DFN probe. I thought, oh, maybe the probe is a bit conservative. So they use something called fluorometric methods, which shines light of certain photons, certain spectra at the rock, and it flashes back, and uranium really flashes back. And they counted the uranium that they saw. I thought, wow, geez, maybe there's more uranium than we thought. But then they decided to not go with that. They discounted that and they just went with the DFN probe, delayed fission neutron probe results. Estimated 15 to 30 million pounds for their starter resource for the mine, 65 million pounds of potential if you include the prospects in the surrounding areas. And then, frankly, up from there, very exciting uranium numbers would make it one of the biggest uranium projects in North America. But there's something they missed. It turns out those fluorometric methods, they were telling the truth. There was a lot of, and there is a lot more uranium than anybody thought. And our company finally, 45 years later, has discovered this. We have recently confirmed that, and this is through using chemical assays, that the uranium count that was done in the 1970s was too low,
Mm.
significantly too low. This is very exciting. So the fundamental point here is that this was already going to be a large-scale uranium mine. They estimated the amount of uranium. They planned a mine. They did conservative basis. We have drilled 34 holes. We probed them. We got with a gamma probe, which is a photon probe, we got a little bit higher numbers than they got back in the past. We were very excited about that. But we did chemical assays, sent all the samples to the laboratory, and this is the punchline. Anything that the probe saw as being 1,000 parts per million, that's 0.1% uranium or higher, turns out there's 60% more uranium in those samples than anybody thought. That's due to disequilibrium. Anything with 500 to 1,000 ppm. Now this is an important range for mining. A lot of that rock would be ore for mining. That turns out there's 50% more uranium than is detectable by the probes, by our gamma probe or their DFN probe back in the 1970s. Very exciting stuff. And then overall 24%, 20 to 24% more uranium. Disequilibrium in our case favors the project. It could just as easily not favor a uranium project. It goes both ways. Copper Mountain has extensive disequilibrium, and it seems to favor us, and we believe it's probably going to apply. We can't say definitively, but apply across the project. What is disequilibrium? Pardon me. What is disequilibrium? I'll explain it very briefly. When uranium travels through the earth and arrives at a new location, it starts to decay into its daughter products, eventually ending up as lead.
Mm.
These probes don't just count the neutron emission or the gamma emission from the uranium, but also from krypton, cesium, and other things that decay in a radioactive way. If the uranium has recently traveled or the daughter products have been picked up and moved, then the count is off, and it can either it can hurt you or help you.
Mm.
And at Copper Mountain, it helps us a lot. It's very exciting for the project. That's the story of on disequilibrium.
Very interesting. Definitely learned something today.
Yep,
So,
very interesting.
your second project is Red Basin in New Mexico. Could you tell us, more about Red Basin and how it fits into the company strategy as well?
Sure. Copper Mountain is our priority in Wyoming, but Red Basin came along. We acquired 100% interest in it. It's in a basin that's thought to have up to 45 million pounds of uranium. Our areas encompass roughly 800 out of 1,050 historic holes drilled in that basin decades ago. We think we have a lot of uranium. We have a historic indicated resource of 500,000 pounds of uranium, and we have a historic inferred resource of 1.5 to 6.5 million pounds. This is all near surface in roll front sandstone. The grades are 0.17 to 0.31%. And we also have a vanadium. We think we have extensive uranium up to 1.64% vanadium. It's an exciting project.
So now let's talk about, some upcoming catalysts, whether it's exploration milestones, permitting, partnerships, or market events. What should investors be looking out for now, and why should they be excited about Myriad for the coming months, let's say?
Yeah, we've just hit it out of the park with this disequilibrium issue. It turns out our project, which was already going to be a large scale mine, has a lot more uranium than anybody thought. That's point number one. Now, what's coming? Because of that, we've sent more samples to the laboratory. We're just about to get the results back from those samples. We sent a lot of samples. We think we're going to find even more uranium. If we do, every extra bit of uranium, and we'll know this within the coming weeks, major catalyst for the company. If we do, this already excellent world-class project is even better. What else are we going to do? We do have plans to drill some holes, 8 to 12 holes. These are going to be exciting holes in prospects where we have high confidence of getting great intercepts. Third catalyst, we are likely to uplist. We're currently on the CSE. We may go to the venture or onto a US exchange. Fourth catalyst, we're going to get to 75 and we think one way or another 100% ownership of our Wyoming project. That's going to come soon, and we're very excited about that. Lots going on with Myriad and exciting times ahead.
Yes, we've covered you for a while, and it's a very exciting time. So I look forward to continuing to cover you and having you on for more updates. Best of luck.
Thanks a lot, Aaron. Speak soon.